criticize me? Somebody else said something over there.
Patience.
Okay.
Twin flames.
Okay. Only in Sedona. Yeah. So the requests are all over the place, but all valuable and valid and important. You know, dealing with life, everything from twin flames and patience and criticism and death and letting go, joy, abundance. I mean, look at the variety. Just even starting off with some of the more challenging requests. And I typically just, it happens, the weaving together of all these that seem like they're irreconcilable or all so far apart they can't be joined. But what's impossible for God, for man is possible for God. We just have to learn to bridge things, just the magic of bridging. But bridging means connecting. One of you asked about patience. You can be a person trying to be patient with another person, but that's two things that you're trying to sort out and figure out. One seemingly to be more patient towards another, but as long as there's another, you already produced a problem because there's another that I have to deal with. The more we bridge, it's like the kindness. You have to love people to want to be kind enough to even know where they're coming from. You see? It's all about love. You have to love them. The thing called generation gap, whether that's towards your children, another generation, or another people, or racial, or gender. These are things people make up. These are things that has nothing to do with God. God cannot see two of anything. The reason you have two eyes is because we choose to see two or more of everything, duality. And that is the root of all evil. To think that there's something other than the oneness of God. And I'm talking about the loving oneness of God, not the oneness that people fabricate. Meaning there's, love and hate, war and rape and kindness and non-kindness. And they say, and somehow that's all God. No. Those are people who don't understand God, trying to explain it in a way that you go, oh, okay, well, that makes sense. God's all things, including horrible things. That's a horrible person trying to justify horrible things because they don't understand that life can be without horrible things. There is just God. There can be, and there is just God. Just love, as the first few people. Love, peace. That's the presence of God. When we say, peace, our limiting minds can actually think peace means the lack of war. You can have the lack of war and still have child abuse. So it isn't just the lack of war. The peace means the presence of God. My definition for trauma is anything that lacks God's presence. Because some people are like, well, I don't have any trauma. Once again, anything that lacks God's presence, they're like, okay, that's me. Lacking God's presence can mean the fear of a new job, the fear of entering a relationship. Anything that lacks, I'm not saying the relationship lacks God's presence. I'm saying that's our perceptions of it. Anything that lacks God's presence, which clearly would be aggression and war and hurt and hate and so on and so on. So what we do is we feel a lack of God's presence and then we take it out on each other. Everybody, not just in war, humans, sports fans of different kinds. My team's better than your team. That's dualistic. There is one eye in God. Let thine eye be single, Jesus says. He didn't say, let thine eyes be dualistic. Come on. Let thine eye be single, and you will be filled with light. But that's not Kundalini awakening exercises, although that's not bad to do. It helps. It speeds everything up to say, not my will, but your will be done. Let me see everything as you see. Let's call this divine humility. Divine humility, which sounds like contradictory terms. Divine sounds like divinity, power, and humility sounds like lowly. And it's not. The last shall be first, and the first shall be last. Those think that they know do not know, and therefore they remain in darkness, which pertains to those who claim to know religion, science, politics, the unholy trinity on planet Earth. That was for the person that complained last week about my unkind comments about politics. I have more. Or I think they were complaining about my comments about religion. Whatever, it's all the same. Unholy. Divine humility. You cannot know divine humility without knowing forgiveness. Now, if somebody says, but sometimes Michael or whomever can make a comment about politics, religion. So did Jesus. So I have no problem. I'm in good company. But not because he hated those people. He was simply saying, you're hypocritical. People are trusting you, politicians, sciences, and that sciences includes medicine, sciences and religion, to lead them, to help them. And you're lying to them for the purpose of power and money. So he was just simply putting them in their place. That is not unkind and it's not rude. It's the truth. And he's trying to say, listen, the people that want to learn, they're closer to God than you who say you know. They're closer. And these people were like, we must kill this guy immediately. He's going to put us out of business. And it's true. Not just the politicians and the government at the time. The religion of the time, they all wanted to kill him. And don't think I'm talking about just Sanhedrin. All of them. There are books and stories of Jesus having gone to every continent. Whether you believe it or not, Native American tribes have records of him having come here and spoken to them. It's true. Don't diss indigenous people's oral tradition and stories about their history just because it's not in your textbooks. It's true. He visited all of them. And in almost every culture from the farthest east to the farthest west, the leaders tried to kill him. Why? The same reasons. Power. Whether it was psychic power, psychological power, spiritual power, or sometimes money. He was a major inconvenience to these kinds of realities. Divine humility, it's so funny because it sounds like then we lower ourselves. We're lifted when we say, I of myself know nothing, even if you think you do. Well, Michael's wrong because for lifetimes, I've had it verified by Akashic record readers that I've been a musician for lifetimes. So technically, these are my skills. No creativity comes through you, to you, and through you without it originating in God. No creative power can come to you or through you without originating in God. You might have shut off the memory of where it came from and got all emboldened about yourself. Look at how natural I am at singing and playing and whatever. That's really sad because anyone that puts the pride in what they do, their time is limited because your human self is limited. There are people that, God, you can just see it in their eyes. Some individuals, this spark of God. Isn't that amazing? They can be old and have no academic training whatsoever, but there's something in their eyes that you want to stand in their presence. They're just beautiful souls. The ones that say, well, I don't have a spark in my eye, but I have lots of information to impress you with. See, that doesn't really do anything for me. Buddha says, I'm teaching you from things that don't come from books. St. Martin and many mystics in history, they're like, it's not coming from information, study, and so on. And there's nothing wrong with those who have studied. Many mystics have studied and so on. It's great. Many have devoted themselves to traditions and breath work and studies of that type. It's fine. We're talking about where do you believe the source is? If you think it's you, it's called pride, which cometh before a fall. As soon as I think it's me, the thing standing here, this thing dies, therefore your information dies. There's a common rule, let's say a compass. The more that you're there, the less that God is there. Put it that way. The more it's you, the more you think it's you and your ingenuity and your skill, they're mutually exclusive. The more you are there, the less God is there. Which sounds for some people a little intense, but it's true. One rules out the other. The more thinking, the more worrying, the more fear, whatever it is. My mind, I need to assess a little bit of how much I'm here thinking and talking. So here's an example. Somebody can kneel down, put their hands together, tears, Jesus, I lost my job and I'm humbly asking, can you get that job back for me? Can you get me another job? Now, God's going to try to help you in any way that it can, given the receptacle you give it. Oh Lord, here's a thimble in which I want a waterfall of your presence to come upon me. You give it like a thimble or a Dixie cup. Pour your abundance. It's filled and okay, it's gone seconds later. But this is what we do. As soon as you think you know the problem, you're already limiting God. God, I lost my job. God's going, I don't even know what jobs are. And I need it back. Is that what you think you need? Okay. Another job, which is temporal. So now you're happy for a year or 2 years or 50 years later when you've worked your butt off and you get nothing but not even a gold watch anymore. Right? So as soon as you describe, which is everybody has done this, but as soon as you describe what you need help with, you're already taking what I could receive, God help me to, and here's my problem. Then you start to decide what the solution is, which narrows it more. Wow. Yeah. Isn't that amazing? No, I'm a humble child of God. Om Mani Padme and boom shakalaka and on one foot and eyes rolled to the third eye. And you can do all the techniques that impress. And all you're doing is zeroing in. What we have to do is pray. You tell me the question. I don't know. I don't know anything. See, now in the New Age movement's beautiful, but it's interesting because one of the reasons it's so popular is it empowers people, which clearly we needed because the church for thousands of years did the opposite. You're just all screwed up. Come to us. Okay. And so it is. This is what happened. I mean, it wasn't really about you having a relationship with God. Because if you have a relationship with God, you might not show up to the church and honor what they want. I mean, there's times when churches have been so strange where they could actually sell you heaven. If you leave us in your will, we can promise you territory in God, in heaven, when you die. And of course, even the miser with $1 trillion in his deathbed is going to think twice about it. I better play it safe. Since I'm dying, I give everything to the church. And they became the largest landowner in Europe. It's amazing. Jesus would have never said, blessed are those who own all the land. That's totally not Jesus. Buddha would have never said, I am so at peace being one as a landowner. None of it makes sense. So, and I'm not just picking on the church. I mean, whatever. Anybody that messes with the mind and makes people think these kinds of things. Well, like we have a center here. But the center is an oasis to come fill your canteen and you go back out for the week and do your work as a person, as a partner, and whatever you do. As a parent, hopefully always in an improved version. But it's really about nurturing a relationship with God. Like, we don't have a thing here where it's, something special of myself. I just teach. I just stand here and share. But I try to bow out afterwards. I try to stay away during the week as much as possible. I try to just, I keep a balance of it all. We don't make it about, he's entering the property today. I mean, it's like, and it's kind of funny because there's some people so beautiful, sincere souls, and they come in. Is he here? And you have people like Dosie and Tracy and Valerie, and they who's that? And Michael, is he, and it's kind of funny because this does happen. And is he here? Has he been here recently? Oh, I can feel his frequency, which is beautiful. Okay, it's fine. I get it. I love it. And they're trying to be as respectful as possible. No, he did the service yesterday, but he usually doesn't come in during the week. And it's kind of funny because there have been people so humble and beautiful and respectful that they're just like, wow, he's amazing. We love what he teaches. We took his workshop, etc. And then it's happened many times. And then I come walking in the door, and I'm like, I just was listening to my radio on the way in. So I come in the door. I don't think about there are people, waiting. I just walk in the door, smoke on the water, and people are like, and the staff is trying to cover up, yeah, there's this other side of Michael, just singing whatever was on the radio. Everybody dance now, it's just in me, so I walk in and that's what I'm doing. And then I have to and they're like, hello, beloveds. Welcome to the center. Oh, it's such an honor to meet you. But that's me. This is me, whether I'm speaking, I'm silly. Whether I'm not speaking, there's just that part. And being real and being true to yourself, not pretending some piousness and then thinking that being playful is non-pious. To me, they're the same. It's not hurtful or hateful to be playful. So there is a consistency between spirit and matter when you don't separate the two and shame the one and rever the other. Seeing how they come together, seeing, the beautiful, the bridge between them. And so it happens where the New Age movement was so empowering of people. And yes, God, generations, for thousands of years, the lowliness, the sinfulness, you're either in the Far East told you're going to have to reincarnate 1 billion times, or you're in the Western world told you're going to go to hell. Neither of those is that promising. I mean, really, they both involve eternal damnation. They do. Just one is in the center of the earth in a cavern of lava, and the other is just reincarnating, with people that spew lava. It's still not God. It's still not God. It's still not heaven. There's still a problem. So this concept of empowerment ended up going like we do on earth, swinging the pendulum from no empowerment to empowering people's egos. Now there's people walking around, everybody spewing, the me, I, me, mine. I am a goddess. I am but yet not better parenting, not more faithful partnership. You see what I'm saying? The thinking that anything I do, I have license to do it because I am empowered. So you have, these disempowered egos that are broken. Then you have these empowered egos that are just annoying. They're just, oh my God, here you were never allowed to speak, and here we can't get you to stop talking. But it's I, me, mine. My everything, and it's like, wow, you cannot know the truth without being right here. Right here, which is of myself, I'm nothing. Whether I'm doing one extreme or the other, I'm nothing. Right here is learning to surrender, learning the divine humility concept of surrender and forgiveness. I don't know anything. I think, and you're allowed to have attitude. Call me silly, Lord. Just seems like losing that job didn't help financially. Call me silly, but I just think I might need another job. You can say things with attitude. Got to laugh and enjoy the moment. But after you get over your attitude of saying, God, come on, man. We need jobs here to pay bills. God knows that. But when you learn to say, but I thought I needed that job or that person. I don't know. For all I know, my twin flame is in Madagascar. I don't know. But you do. I thought my job was this. I know nothing, Lord, but I just thought that 20 years in college was for a reason, but you know better. You're all knowing. What do I know? I just went to school for 20 years to become nothing. It's all right. Something magical happens even when you've invested time. Even when you've spent 20 years raising a child and they end up taking a weird turn in life. Even when you put 10 years into career and it goes somewhere else. I know that's scary, it's sad, it's confusing, it's many things. But something magical happens when you say, Well, I don't know. This is where I've been. I did 20 years parenting, and they've moved out and they're doing their thing, and it's some unhealthy stuff. I don't know what any of this was for. I don't know. The I don't know becomes an I am consciousness. The I don't know makes room for the truth of God. It's the most extraordinary thing. When I let go of my opinion, my view of what I'm supposed to be doing, you see? I mean, but God, I was married for 20 years, raised the children, I was devoted and faithful and so on and so on, a good parent. How did it happen that my partner picked somebody else for the last 5 years that I didn't know about? How is it that the kids, are buying Christmas gifts for the new girlfriend and not their mom? I'm confused. What I'm saying is the most horrid description of your life that you can give. It's supernatural. What you're experiencing is called natural. Envy, sadness, heartbreak, etc. You're looking for supernatural. Stop looking for the description of the natural problem and the natural outcome solution. Go supernatural. I don't know anything. Which my head says, come on. The New Age movement says, you know everything. It's on my mirror, on a Post-it. I know everything. I am young, chic, and vivacious. You have all these really empowering little Post-its, from Post-it hell, your mirror with just all kinds of empowering statements. But you know what? It's compensatory. Take them and burn them, which sounds like self-deprecating or something. It sounds, those are my empowering statements. That's your God. A Post-it? Seriously? Burn it and become what you wrote. We have to all understand the difference between I'm doing to achieve, I'm nothing, now I'm feeling broken because I'm nothing, to I am, that I am. Down in this world, it's those natural three stages. Down in this world, down at the bottom of these three, putting it this way, I'm trying to cope. My life was messed up. I tried to cope and become something, and it felt better. But then it all fell apart, which is typically the dark night of the soul. But the dark night of the soul, one of the purposes is humility. Because what you think you are not. It does no good. I don't care what you think you've achieved. Perfect, oh my God, I got the soulmate and we finish each other's sentences. And the prosperous job. I don't even have to go to work. And they just mail me money. So I definitely know that I've achieved what the New Age community of self-empowerment told me I could achieve. Except inner peace. Except this feeling that there's a presence of God. Well, I do. I feel the presence because you have stuff. The dark night will come and take it away. Then you'll know whether that was real or not. How much is it holding you together? How much do you feel centered knowing that you're achieving what you want to achieve? How does that hold up when you've lost it? As soon as you lose something and it breaks your heart in any way, even if just doubt comes up, guys, it's normal, it's natural, I get it. But we're looking for supernatural consciousness. Don't talk about ascending if you're only going to be talking about, I want stuff. Ascending means I don't have attachments. As soon as you don't have attachments, you're cutting the line to anchors that keep you trapped into the bay or wherever you are. Cut, let go of the attachments. And I'm not talking about be detached. That's the other extreme. It's a center called non-attachment. I have, but I don't sweat it. I can give. The more money you make to some people is an achievement. How are you doing? Oh man, I've quadrupled my investments this year. Oh man, it's your portfolio. I know they use that word. I don't even know what it means. Okay? Some sort of, records of your abundance or something. How's your portfolio? See, I would be like, Akashic Records? Is that what they're talking? Portfolio, like a file in the Akashic Records? I have to remember these are humans. So when they mean something human, then I got to go there, Okay, when they say, how's your light doing? They're thinking electricity in your house, and I'm thinking, inner light. I've had these conversations with people at times where I'm like somewhere else, And they're like, no, man, I meant this, 3D stuff. So we all need to learn this achievement level, the portfolio. Walking around with it like you're an actor and you walk around with your headshots, Don't I look good? Here's another one. Don't I look good? Here's another one. Do I get the part? I'll sell my soul for a part. Well, that's okay because I'll forgive myself later. No, you will not so easily forgive yourself. We bargain ourselves and we hate people in the new age, Oh, don't say the word hate. I just did. We hate ourselves for doing these kinds of things. When you bargain yourself away, it creates hatred towards self, not just a little less love. We hate ourselves for the things we've done to ourselves and allowed other people to do. We hate ourselves for investing time in jobs that we knew wasn't our soul's purpose. We hate ourselves for having done relationships that were not soulmate type relationships. There's a wonderful gal, an actress who contacted me this week, and she said, Michael, and I could hear her voice was different than it was last time we spoke a couple of years ago. And she said, I have to tell you, you were trying so hard years ago to train me in the concept of gifting relationships, karmic relationships. And I was fighting with you to try to tell me how to fix my current partnership. And you would talk about karmic relationships and gifting relationships. What you were trying to tell me is the one I'm in is karmic. And you can have gifting. And oh my God, and she said, and I resisted, but oh my God, I got it now. And I have a gifting relationship for now a few years. Fabulous, you see? But she thought, Michael, help us fix the problem. Let me tell you what the problem is. Did you pray on this? No, I already know. I'm intelligent enough to know. As soon as you do that, you narrow down what you can receive. I don't care if it's job, romance, even health. God, I have this diagnosis instead of your presence. There's, a Bible story of an apostle of Christ who said, I have this particular ailment, fix it. And Jesus said, no. I'm paraphrasing, but he said, no. He said, let my presence be enough. Meaning you think you have your problems and you name it, and you want us to fix it. I want you to say, I don't know. Because really what's happening is somewhere in your consciousness, you forgot who you really are. That's why they cheated. That's why you lost your job. That's why you're in a third dimensional world. That's why you will die in this lifetime, typically, right? It's because you forgot who you are. If you know who you are, nothing can happen because you're just light. You're a glowing being of awareness. So it can't be like the Post-its. I am happy and whole. And as soon as somebody sneezes wrong, it's like, oh, that's it. Somebody walks in, without a mask, and you're going to choke them because you know best. I don't know. God, who am I? I mean, when you really pray to know who you really are, which is the same as praying, show me how you see me, which ends up being, oh my God. And then you start anchoring that in. Instead of so much work on fix, and with enough study and fixing, you establish a little bit more knowledge and it feels like you've achieved something. One moment of humility and all is given to us. Everything. And it's so overwhelming, our mind says, it's too much for me, which is already a judgment that you can't handle it. So again, you'll narrow it down. All of us do that to some degree. I could have a download now, or I could have a download in the middle of the night. And yeah, there are moments when I'm like, not now. I'm in the middle of something or whatever, But that's the humor between us. I don't mind. God doesn't mind. Oh, that's Michael. Yeah. He's digging into the butter and bread and butter, his favorite food. And so we can't talk to him while he's having bread and butter. They know the story, Get back to me when the bowl of butter is empty, the container or whatever. They give him a minute. They know. It's okay. Helen, who wrote A Course in Miracles, incredible material of Christ consciousness. But when she was needing to get to work, she stopped. Halfway through a sentence, halfway through a word. Go to work. She might come home tired. She go to sleep, wake up, got to go to work again. On the way home, got to shop, et cetera, et cetera. She comes, when she sat down, it would pick up to the letter right where it left off. To the letter. I mean, it could be halfway through a word or a sentence, and it just and starts continuing. God is not saying, all me and do nothing else. No, it's okay to realize, and time for this, time for that. It's fine. But instead of separate, I do this and then there's God time. Why not just bring God into everything you do? I'm not saying you have to only wear white seamless outfit, and always walk, and a cross or whatever your paraphernalia might be. I'm saying bring God into everything. I don't care if you're doing motocross. Be with me, Lord, and go, do all the tricks and, flips, and it doesn't matter. Bring God with you. If you're on a ship that's sinking, bring God with you. Not, I wish you were here, God. You're affirming this. There's so little room for you in my life, God. And God's like so flexible. 7 days a week, just set one aside for me. That's asking a lot, Lord. We're busy. Sunday is technically, you could say, the beginning of your week. Sun, God, light. Use that Sunday to empower you to go into a week, not a break from a terrible week that humans have. Use it as a way to connect, power up, and get ready. We're going in. Right? Get your oxygen mask on. It's Sunday, tomorrow's Monday. I'm going in. Be with me. And take God into whatever you're doing. And there are times, for myself, it's easy. I can see that at times where I'm like, man, I got this, and so many, whatever. If you dwell on the problem, you've already lost, you're already being drained. You made it into a force against you. I don't deny that I have 50 things to do. What I do is say, a day at a time. Be with me, God. Let's go. That's all you can do. That's all you need to do. You're doing all you need to do when you call on that connection. Plugging in. Do not attempt to do things alone. First of all, because you're not alone. But when you think you are, I'm so alone in dealing with this divorce, you've just affirmed how broken you are, and now you will not handle it as well. Try instead, like King David in the Psalms. Man, I'm going through hell right now. All these enemies are rushing in, and he's talking about literally, militarily invading forces. And what he ends up doing, much like Krishna's advice to Arjuna in the Gita, he's like, just start writing and hack to your left and hack to your right. Let no sword hit anyone that isn't meant to be. Woohoo! Just go. Just go. Go into your life. Do what you need to do. Hire the right lawyer. Do what you need to do in the divorce. In the parenting, no, kids. Not, well, mom would prefer you didn't, and then they do it and you wonder why. You look at them. No. They need to get the message. Not, mom is so insecure, she needs our approval. One of you asked, about criticism. No. If you know who you are, then you know who you are and you do what you know yourself to be, and everyone else should be aware of that. They should know, but he, they're just a pushover anyway. We can get what we want out of mom or dad. There's this knowing, this clarity. Okay, this is the teacher, not the substitute teacher. Remember that? Substitutes. We'd all just look at each other and just, thank you, God. That's when we were most religious. Deep appreciation, a substitute. A substitute automatically meant there's no work today. That's what it meant. And then it meant sit closest to the door. When they turn their back, they don't know what your name is. You're out the door. There were so many ways to deal with substitute teachers. Why? Because they're not your teacher. They're not present. They're not holding that consciousness that I'm going to be here today. I was here yesterday. I'll be here tomorrow. And you have to deal with me if you mess up. No, they're just floating in and out. And that's how even your parents, you as parents, or parents to others, people sense these things. Everybody's got that psychic sense, including animals. No, don't go there. and a leg comes up. And they look at you, what are you going to do about it? We know you don't mind. We know you're going to be like, did you go pee? Did you go? Oh, let me clean up after you. They know they can get away with it. Everybody in the world has to know your yeses are yeses, your nos are nos. And there's not even like a doubt. If you have doubts, clean them up before you say no to somebody or yes to somebody. Clean them up. And we all have weaknesses in those areas, but clean those up as best you can. Because what will happen if you don't? You're leaking weakness into the situations of life. People will take advantage. You're then going to resent them for taking advantage as though they were the problem. And all they did was mirror, you're not here. And children do. They pick that up. They pick up the incongruence between two parents. Divided you fall as parents. But if you're an owner of a business, it's the same thing. The employees know that they can take things. They know they can show up late. They work you on your weak areas. Why? Well, they're not being very conscientious or kind. That's true. They're usually doing something that could be illegal or immoral. That's all true. But why is that in your life? And it's important for us to say, wow, instead of God, fix me from jerks, it's help me see where I'm showing incongruence. Help me to see whatever the real problem is for that matter. And almost always, I'm going to say 80% of the time, spiritual guidance takes you here, not there. Spiritual guidance. So learning divine humility involves forgiveness, but there's two levels in a nutshell, summarizing two levels of forgiveness. There's one level where we go, Michael said you have to be more forgiving to know divine humility. And the first level is forgiving people for being jerks, forgiving hurtful people. That's one level. The other level is those who actually know the way the universe works, that there are no others, and that we're here. The universe is mirroring to us. The world is mirroring to us. Our animals are mirroring to us. Our children are mirroring to us. Our employees, our friends. Everybody is saying, here's how you're doing on your path. And I know that's hard because some people are like, no, he's wrong. I'm an innocent victim of all bad people, and I'm just wonderful. I know it's easy to think that and say that, and I get it. It's so tempting to believe that. And it's also nicer than saying I played a part. I mean, come on. Think about it. I can tell you a thing about forgiveness that would really make or break some people. What is easier? Here's two techniques of forgiveness. One, they did it, but I'll forgive them. Or just they did it. Now, I'm all hurt. Something happened in my life. Okay, let me sit and think about this. It was their fault. That technique took 10 seconds, if even that. Here's the other technique. And what are they mirroring? And and there's this pattern I have, and I've seen that in my life here and here. That could take days for you to look at all the parts. See, which one's easier? People want to go with the quick fix. You want the drive-through fast food version of forgiveness. It's their fault. It's quick, it's easy, and you even feel a little better. I was kind of anxious before, but as soon as I blamed somebody, I felt kind of better. Well, you do that when you pee. You feel a little more relief in your bladder. That doesn't mean you're any more holy. You just feel relief. But that's ego relief. You are not more at peace. And the truth is, my choosing the quick route and blame, I will actually feel consequences called guilt and shame, which will manifest in my life as more loss. God takes care of those who take care of themselves, some people say. That didn't mean, watch out for number one. That's not what that meant. Do your inner work. God takes care of those who, take care of themselves. That's what it means. Go here. Take care of you. Look at your stuff. Heal it. Find this peace that comes from healing and forgiveness. But that second category, it's those who see how the world actually works, which is as a mirror. It's not a place of blame. Forgiving others for what they do, that's one level of forgiveness. There's another level. And that other level is like, I no longer really see. It shouldn't be a discipline like a hard, mustn't judge, mustn't get angry. All you're doing is pressing it down. It's learning the way this works, learning and learning, mostly through self-inventory, and with each inventory comes more awareness and so on. But when it comes to forgiveness, you start to realize, you know what? People are either fully awake, or they're awakening, or they're asleep. But generally, between those three, generally we could say they're asleep or they're awake. The ones in my life that act awake, I mean, even if they're just momentarily awake, they're kind, they're reflecting love's presence, say thank you in your mind to every one of them. Every kindness, say thank you in your mind. But those who are asleep, I'm not saying good people, bad people. We're only talking about awake and asleep. And just because someone in their sleep is talking in their sleep and they're grumbling words that are like harsh to my ears, do I hate them? How dare you be asleep? No, they're sleeping. They're just dreaming. Or if somebody says, God, I just woke up and, I was, in another lifetime and slaughtering people in war. I'm never talking to you again. How could you do such a thing? It was a dream. You're going to hate somebody for a dream? But that's what people are doing. They're sleeping. They're just asleep. They're not yet awake. So real forgiveness sees it that way. It doesn't see people that are asleep and judging them and then forgiving their actions in their dream, which is kind of insane. You're going to get to the other side? I became more forgiving. Yes, I was starting to forgive people for what they dreamt. What about the things they did? Well, not that, just the things they dreamt. It doesn't make sense. So what about, I know that they're asleep, and when they're asleep, what happens when you're asleep is, there's all kinds of different levels of sleep, but one level of sleep is your frustrations. They burn off, they're decompressing as flashes in your mind. So they're images in your dreams, right? You have a dream of this, and whether you're flying or whether you're in danger. They're images that reflect your soul. Your dreams are a mirror, just like so-called reality is. So if a person is dreaming horrible things, what's to forgive? It's their pain talking to them, right? Do I take their criticisms seriously? As one of you again asked, criticism. Forgive them, they know not what they do. Truly. Is that easy? If somebody's kicking you, would I walk by and go, yeah, just forgive them for they know not what they do? No, I would restrain them, because in the dream, they believe they're being hateful. They're going to create more bad karma for themselves by doing this in the dream. So you have to take action. If I have a child and it's having a nightmare, I don't walk by the room and go, oh, too bad. That's your dream. It's not mine. No, you would not. If you're a conscientious human being, you would want to help. Even if a dog is sleeping and it seems like it's having a disturbed dream. It's like, it's from the dog family. It's like it's having this dream about a roadrunner that's sending it off cliffs and whatever, like the cartoon. So it's having these bad dreams. What you want to do is very simple. What would any person with love and compassion do? You would never startle a child. Hey, wake up! What are you dreaming? Why are you dreaming? Never. If you're sane, what do? Pat them. What else? Gentle, right? Honey, wake up. Hi, it's mommy. You have to bridge, and you have to help them acclimate that they're in their room and that they're safe. That's what you would do if you were sane. So all Spirit is asking us to do is act sane. But there's this really strong connection that we have to get. And that is, it's one thing to imagine when they are sleeping and dreaming, gently wake them up. When they're externally being rude, we don't think of it as dreaming, so we think we have to retaliate or defend. But it's still a dream. So what we need to do is know it in here and in here. They're just dreaming. Yes, they're seemingly hurtful, but they are just dreaming. Get that understanding. Understand that's how the world works. It's a hologram that comes from our insides. But on the inside, know that it's a dream. You can know that even the likes of Adolf Hitler is having a bad dream, but there's nothing wrong with, on the outside, restraining them. Because that is called knowing the truth, they're dreaming, and respecting the illusion, which is, and out here, we need to do something. There's an action needing to be taken. Somebody comes rolling, falling downstairs. Oh, it's an illusion. No, that's not what you were asked to do. And that's one of the things people fail to understand, especially related to Eastern teachings. Oh, we're told everything's an illusion, and they laugh at Eastern teachings because you're only getting a crumb of what it's saying. It didn't say it's an illusion, ignore it. And Jesus drives that home in A Course in Miracles and in the Bible and wherever else. Christ is being known. It's saying, the truth is, there is only God, there is only love, etc. But it's also saying, however, you aren't completely aware of that yet. So while you're in the dream, handle it. Take care of things. It's called do the next right thing as often as you can. You'll know generally what to do with crisis is just help. A wound, hold direct pressure. Somebody's falling, catch them, whatever, the next right thing. But sometimes they're a bit more dramatic things, especially if they're attacks on you or someone you love. And it's okay to say no. I remember, I'm going to come to a close in a second, but when my kids were young, I remember we were driving and one of them said something like, "So, Daddy, if someone abused one of us, what would you do?" Wow. These kids of mine, man, they were never like, "Daddy, look, flowers." It's like deep. What would you do? And what I said to them, well, I know what I should do, and that would be to try to understand and to try to forgive and so on. I said, but there's a part of me that would be, consider doing something horrible. That's what I said. I used the word horrible, that I would be tempted to do something horrible. The funny thing, they all looked at each other and went, whoa. They were almost grateful that their dad would stick up for them. See, there was a part of them that was asking on a personal level, but it was also a little bit of a test. And I answered right. The truth is, and the illusion is. You see? I would be tempted in the illusion to be very upset and do something horrible, is what I said. All these, almost 30 years ago. But I also made it clear to them, I know what I need to be doing. And that is somehow clinging to love and forgiveness, which doesn't mean I'm okay with what they did, but I need to not hate them and so on. So I explained a little bit, So this comes to us all. There's nothing wrong. It's natural for you to be hurt, angry, confused by anything in this world, let alone, the personal injuries that come to you in your heart and all that. We're not asked to pretend those things aren't happening, but we are asked to rise to a different perspective. Take care of things. I want to spiritually stay plugged in, but personally, what actions can I take that reflect as much of being plugged in as possible, as opposed to two different things? Spiritually and verbally, I'm all plugged in. Oh, money, padme, praise Jesus, whatever. Actions, completely incongruent. My job is to stay plugged in and get the actions to mirror as much as possible being plugged in. Does that make sense? Yeah. What would you have me do? How would you have me see this? Define the problem, and the answer already starts narrowing in. And then we wonder, why don't I get clearer answers? God's going, because you haven't asked a good question. You're telling me what the problem is, and you're clueless. Oh, no, I have degrees. And that's impressive. So even as I close, the concept one is asking, death and letting go. Sometimes we experience deaths of people that were challenged relationships with. So here's the big drag. There's a part of us that not only when they die, part of us that doesn't realize it's there, mind you, we usually aren't conscious of this, but part of us knows once they die, it feels final that we cannot resolve that relationship. That's not true, but this is what the mind tells us. There goes your last chance. Now she'll never apologize. They'll never say, you were right, honey. It's gone. The death is not just what you think, a person that was hurtful. Then there's the people that we're loving. Why do we hurt so much? Partly because we lost something that felt like a reflection of goodness in our lives. You see what I'm saying there? So there are people that pass and it's like, oh my God, the goodness. But that is a form of idolatry. I'm not saying you're wrong for feeling sadness to lose them. I'm saying you're missing something. All the goodness that you are, I don't care if it's Jesus or your mother-in-law, if they were kind to you, when they leave, there's a part of them that's saying, and I leave you with all the gifts that you saw in me. All the kindness that I am, you need to own. If I remained on earth, Jesus said this, but so does anybody else that was kind and passes away. What they're saying subconsciously is, I'm actually going to need to pass away so that you can pass your test of owning all that you liked in me. You get that? Own it. And Jesus said that. I have to go. See, if Jesus stays, then they're going to be like, I got some taxes, oh, Jesus, get a coin out of a fish again like you did last week, pay my bills, oh, Jesus, you want to fix this cold? This is what they would have done. He says, I have to leave. So that I'm going to leave, take me out, but I'm leaving you with a spiritual presence, which basically means the mother and the Holy Spirit of God. I'm leaving you with a presence. Draw her inside yourselves. Become embodiments of her, the Holy Spirit. That's what I did. And you're worshiping me. I want you to get what I had, this awakening. And in a subconscious way, that's what loved ones, around the planet are doing. Thank you for, I don't care if it's a world leader. Thank you for seeing good in me. Now, can you see that in yourself? And if not, get it, nurture it. See, but we don't typically do that. Oh, I lost a good person. Or again, challenged relationships. To us, it's a loss partly because we think it's a fatalistic thing. Now here went all chance of me ever healing that relationship. That's not true. Close your eyes. Like the old song, Incense Peppermints from the 60s. Turn on, turn in, turn your eyes around. Don't just, they died. And even if you feel a little, yes, because they died, that's okay. Just talk to God. God, I got to tell you, oh my God, oh my you. The world is such a better place because they died. Get it out of your system. God's not going to be like, oh my God, I can't listen to this. Get it out of your system. Talk about how much you hated them and you're glad they're gone. And then talk about why you feel so glad. Because they just hurt me so much. Now you're going here. How do they hurt you? They just were so this and this and this. Good job. You're going here. And God's going to say, now, beloved, what would you rather have felt? Peace and happiness. Would you like that? No, I'm still angry. Okay. I'll just wait. Anger, 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 anger. Tears, bad dream. Get it? It's all going to decompress. But someday it's going to be like, it doesn't feel like it's there now. All the anger feels like it's there's nothing there. And that's still not the done stage. That's the empty stage. Still to come is the peace and joy you asked for, which you couldn't have from that person because they were your mom, your dad. They were a power figure. They were a boss, an employer who just hurt you and hurt you and hurt you. You couldn't get it from them, but now they're gone, which means now I'm never going to get it. That's how it starts. And then, oh my God, I always had it. I should have been loving myself. And we know that when you're 5, you can't say, Mom, Dad, this ain't working. I'm moving out and getting my own place. We know that. We know that. That's on the 3-dimensional level. It looks like you're a limited being. But now that you're older and it's done and you do your forgiveness process, you're relieved and you're released from that karma. It may have, in your contract, may have expired when you were 20. You might have been 26, might have been 86 by the time you come to this understanding. But there is no time. So all of heaven celebrates that you got it. It doesn't matter if it took 5 lifetimes. When it happens, all of heaven says, in this moment, the Christ is born in Bethlehem and wherever you are. Please take a few centering breaths. Just drawing centered breaths. Oh my gosh, breathe in, I am, and on the exhale, relaxed. A couple of times, please. Just decompressing. I am on the inhale, relaxed on the exhale. Change the words to I am on the inhale, at peace on the exhale. Affirm it's true. I really am. I am at peace. Decompressing. Imagine that it's your soul, your heart and your soul singing, playing. This is your heart's song to yourself, to all people, to the universe, to God.
Shivoham, 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 Shivoham. Shivoham, 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 Shivoham.
Begin to hum along.
Shivoham, 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 Shivoham.
Keep going.
Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham.
Hear that humming vibrating through the room,
Shivoham,
and to people all around the planet joining us.
Shivoham,
Let our voice, our soul's voice, be united.
Shivoham, 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 Shivoham.
Good, louder.
Shivoham, 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 Shivoham.
Words now,
Shivoham, Shivoham.
just sounds. Don't worry about
Shivoham,
exact
Shivoham.
pronunciations, just soul singing.
Shivoham, 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 Shivoham.
Those who are asking for talks of peace, send it to them.
Shivoham,
Love, send it to them.
Shivoham, Shivoham.
Joy and abundance, let's send it to them.
Shivoham, Shivoham.
Be the presence of the Holy Spirit.
Shivoham, Shivoham.
Those who asked about death,
Shivoham,
send them love,
Shivoham,
enlightenment.
Shivoham.
Those who talked about criticism,
Shivoham,
you can handle it. You got it.
Shivoham,
Twin flames, it's all here with us.
Shivoham, Shivoham.
Patience, it's here.
Shivoham, Shivoham.
One more round.
Shivoham, 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 Shivoham.
Our hands come together, our heads slightly bowed. There's nothing to ask for now. It's all here. It's all here. Is that possible? Yes. It really is. That all the answer is right here. It's known as the presence of God in me that makes my life complete. The presence in others that helps me to see their lives complete. It brings the hurtful ones a sense of peace so that they don't need to vent. Those living in lack in any way, whether it's romantic or financial, you are as God created you. Everything is here. Since I know it's in me, I can affirm that it's also in you. That's a fact. It's the truth of God. And it's only us that can ever imagine that it's otherwise. And so it is. Jeez. How are you all feeling? Were there answers? Any truth you feeling? Love? Anybody? Insight? Anybody? Yeah. Good. Now, how is that so? Is it an accident? A coincidence? You know, or is there a God that actually cares and is trying to guide us to live the way we're feeling right now? Okay, let's understand that. It's not via a religion or something or a book or something. It's a spirit and it's an awareness. When we get to know who we really are, there's an awareness that now mirrors back to us our deservability. So I could not have been watching this event and feeling a good feeling about it had I not on some level, unconsciously or consciously, prayed for it. You see, this isn't just a coincidental talk or whatever. That's not how I would talk. So I know it's true that it's just a contrived thing. Ananda isn't going to be like, oh, I think I'll play a cover tune that'll make them like me because I'll be playing their favorite top 40 song. There's none of that allowed here. It's no part of our thinking. The board can't think that way. The chaplains can't think that way. The employees can't think that way. We do as much as we can really live in this intention of this feeling. But you have to ask if you are the same way. Are you able to say, this is the zone in which I choose to live? And I'm absolutely going to commit to it more and more. Not obsessively, calmly, with certainty. This is how I want to feel. And even here, there'll be a glitch now and again. You could be a musician and trip and stumble down the stairs. It doesn't take away from the love, the intention, but things happen. Your question is to ask yourself is how quickly you bounce back. Something said you don't like, let it go. Stay in the zone of what feels like the presence. Love, peace, joy, hopefulness. All right, thank you. We're going to take up our collection and do our closing prayer. So if you'd be as generous as you could be, we would greatly appreciate it. The donations you put in the bags are the Sunday donations. What you put in the baskets are any extra donations for people of lesser means or some of the special projects that we're, doing here and sharing here. All right? So thank you. Just take your love offering. And again, the baskets to say, it's any extra you have, whether you just feel inspired or whether it's change at the bottom of your purse. The bags are primarily for your donations, the baskets for extra. So you hold your love offering to your heart with clear, vivid intention. We say together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Beautiful. Can anyone share what they've learned or heard today that made the most sense or could be the most helpful to you? Anyone? Yes? Hold on one second. Go ahead.
I wanted to share that no matter what, there's the ability to come back to being plugged in.
Nice.
And that God's always here. So no matter how far I stray, I can always come back and know that this is always here. It's always present.
Beautiful.
And I'm deserving of it.
Yes, you are deserving.
Who I love.
Right. This is a reflection. If it reflects unlovability, think twice. Heal, don't blame them, but think twice and walk away perhaps. If you feel lovability, deservability, thank you, God, thank you, God, thank you, and thank me, meaning not the teacher, that me, whoever that is. I really am getting it. And it's clearly being reflected in my life. That's a good thing. Nice, thank you. Anybody else? Yes?
I was just thinking, for the last 4 or 5 years, every morning that I would get up, I'm like, oh God, please give me the strength. I need to retire today. I want to
Oh,
retire. And it was just, it became a joke in my family.
Wow.
It's like, today's the day I want to retire. And I lost my job.
wow.
And you go through that whole, but
Yeah.
then my husband and I sat down and he goes, I really want you to retire. And I think we can do it. I now have a t-shirt that says it took me all my life to pay for this shit.
Oh my God.
And, I don't think I've accepted it yet, and I'm still learning like what that really is. But I know within, I made that happen.
Right. And it's a process that you're in. It doesn't just, it's a process, but she's describing praying for years to retire and then loses her job. It's why you have to watch what you pray for, because it was taken literally to be, because you thought you knew what you wanted. What you wanted was to feel retired, because if someone said, we're going to give you $1 million a year to still work, you wouldn't want to retire as quickly. I want peace. And the head, thanks to the ego, interprets, I'm not going to let you have peace. With that comes a payment. So you get to retire in a sense, but you lost your job. So that's the ego always wants payment plans, always some sort of indebtedness, guilt, shame. And so you got hit with that. But you did create a partner that says, I think we can afford you retiring. Not all of us have manifested that, let me tell you. So ask him if he's interested in another partnership. Financing another retirement. No. So God bless you, and God bless your partner in that sense. Perfect in any other way, don't know or care, but in that sense, Wow, that's really unique. And you created that. A partnership that brought you to that. So congrats. Anyone else? Who was in the back? Yes?
The part about eliminating the container.
Yeah, the part about taking the container and shrinking it down. God, I need help. And here it comes, rolling down this waterfall of presents. Boom, here's the problem. Boom, here's what I need to fix it. You know, and it's just like you miss all this, the miracles, because of the narrowness of the mind. Anyone else? Yes.
The reminder you gave us on how to forgive, not just to blame.
Right.
Look in the mirror and give us some thought. It may take a while.
Yeah.
To grab.
That forgiveness isn't a fast food concept. It's the true forgiveness. It goes from the blaming, and that's a stage, that's okay, to I understand how this works. This is how I personally feel. I'm not making any claims of grandiosity. I just know that when something goes on, and I even think the concept of forgiving somebody, I already know. I can't even really get away with that other stuff, the blaming and forgiving them, you know. Not because it's bad, I'm saying, but I already now know how it works, so it's kind of like I know better. So it goes really quickly from blame, forgiveness to, yeah, okay. You know, I can't spend very much time, it doesn't happen in my brain, to spend very much time on others. You see what I mean? And if you, does that sound like a good idea? Okay, be careful what you pray for. Because as soon as you know there are no others to obsess on in forgiveness, you also start to realize there's no others romantically. So now you're more forgiving, but you live alone, you know? And I partly mean that just in jest, but once you start seeing the truth, none of the illusion seems to do much for you. And there's an adjustment period to that because it's a little extreme, but you start coming back to, and it's okay. It's not an attachment to have a dog or a cat. It's not an attachment to have a partnership, to be intimate. Those are fine. Just don't lose your mind. You know? Just don't go nuts. Don't go crazy. It's just, here, just stay in your center and share with others, not run to or lose yourself in things. You just hold your center. So it is a little bit of a different thing to go, because you don't just get the enlightenment and stay the same. You get the enlightenment and you go, none of this matters. Oh my God. And now you're a mystic who doesn't have any investment, but that's extreme still. There's this thing that people don't realize. You go from chop wood, carry water, you know, that there's a process. I used to do that, then I didn't, now I do. Or the Donovan song. First there is a mountain, then there is no mountain, then there is. It's telling you, you have this world, you're going to see that it's worthless, you drop it, that's not the end. You'll pick it up again, but you'll see it differently. You're just different, which means dating, done, forever, never again. Oh, that was fun. That worked out. You know, get money, I don't care about money, prosperity. It's natural stages. Yes?
It's interesting to hear you say that because it sounds like I was really inspired by the very first imagery you gave of the eye and the bridge.
The eye and the bridge.
And it sounds like what you're saying.
Yeah, thank you. The concept, the bridging is, when we started, the first few words I shared, I think were along the lines of, patience. And it's an act of really caring enough about people to want to know where they're coming from. But there's no other. It's not, I'm going to be patient with you. That still implies a limited version of patience. When the love is there, it's like it's unlimited. And that's closer to how God feels towards us. So it's a divine feeling, really. And please stand. Let's extend gratitude towards our guest musician. Thank you. And he's got products and his presence there in the lobby. You can say hello and give thanks and get some things of his that you'd like, and or get on his mailing list if he has that still out there. All right, so just soaking up a moment of gratitude. Really, really, really. Wow. This is how life can be. And it's going to get even better and better as I rise in consciousness. Not if the right politician wins, not if the right football team wins. It's consciousness. This is my destiny to be as God. It's my destiny, Jesus said, do all that I've done and more. This is our destiny, to remember who we are as the Christ. And all that that can look like in this world is just a fraction of just how fantastic. So we're walking home into the light of God and asking to be the presence with every step we take on that path. That's why we confidently confirm that the light of God surrounds us. We are the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. We are the love of God. The power of God protects us. We are the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. We are the presence of God. Wherever we go, God is, I am, we are, and so it is. Peace be with you all. Thank you. Bye-bye.